You're listening to The Rough Draft, a not-so-average personal development podcast for purpose-driven women ready to rewrite their story. It's a show about evolution, changing narratives, and rewriting our life's rough drafts. I interview some of the world's top female leaders in business, energetics, love, relationships, money, and personal power about their humble beginnings and shifts that got them here. I'm your host, Sabrina Greer, writer, speaker, book publisher, serial entrepreneur, and mentor to women in life and business. Let's rewrite. Welcome back to the Rough Draft podcast. I am excited for my guest today. We are sitting down with new author, Jessica Callery, and I'm going to introduce you. So Jessica Callery is a best-selling author, spiritual mentor, and devoted mom of two, a sobriety advocate with lived experience in addiction and recovery. She guides others through healing and transformation by blending spirituality, intuition, and shadow work. Her work centers on manifestation, alignment, emotional resilience, and awakening to inner guidance. With a mission to help people return to their true essence, Jessica empowers her clients to experience profound shifts and create lives of clarity, connection, and purpose. It's like a breath of fresh air just reading your bio. Welcome, Jess. It's so good to have you here.
I'm really grateful to be here.
Yay.
I really am.
Good. We're very happy to have you here. So we're going to dive right in. So shadow work. Let's go. Shadow Work Journal is out and available today. We're going to link everything in the show notes so you can go get your copy. But just so you have a little bit of background on this incredible resource, tell us a bit about it, Jess.
I know I'm over the moon, and it's really beautiful how this has all come together so organically. But yeah, my shadow work journal is out, released into the world, and it has been a homecoming to myself for me, and I still have a long way to go, but it really has been something that has unlocked a new level of consciousness for me. And I really wanted to share that with the world so that they could have the opportunity to also unlock certain parts of themselves. So, yeah.
I can't wait to get it into the hands of all the people out there. So tell us a little bit about what shadow work is for those who maybe have never experienced it, or they've heard about it on the internet, but they're really unsure, maybe a little fearful. What is shadow work?
Yeah, so basically, the way I describe and would explain shadow work to, say, someone who has absolutely no idea what shadow work is, I would really say it is the doorway into the unconscious. And what I mean by that is they're looking at hidden or suppressed parts of themselves that are truly creating patterns in their life over and over, but they're not really aware of them. They're keeping them hidden and suppressed because they're rejecting certain parts of their emotions and feelings. And when we do that, we really block ourselves. So that is how I'd explain it, as simple as possible, just looking at the hidden, repressed parts of yourself and bringing them to light and really integrating. So exploring the hidden, suppressed parts and then integrating them so that you can use them for purpose.
Sounds so juicy. It's so exciting. So how can you give us an example? Like, what's an example of how you've used shadow work to, explore these hidden or suppressed parts of yourself?
Yeah. So a good example that I would use is, say, a relationship. So, for example, I can use myself here. So I would look at and observe my relationship patterns and look at the triggers of when I am feeling jealous or shameful. And in observing these things, you can truly make a shift in them because a lot of it is a root of something. It really creates an opening to change your pattern. So like I said, for my relationships, I was constantly in a cycle of toxic relationships over and over. And what the reason why that was is because I was suppressing some serious things, you know what I mean? And I wasn't bringing them to light. I was pretending that they weren't there. I was rejecting them. I was rejecting them. And in turn, it was creating shame and fear. And when we're living on a frequency of shame and fear, we're going to attract that type of relationship. Whereas when we're living on the frequency of joy, enlightenment, peace, we're going to attract that. So that's an example. You could see it show up in is relationships, friendships, any type of relationship. That's a big one. That it's helped me with so much more, less projection, more authenticity. That's what it has brought me. And I can say that with confidence. It has truly heightened all of the relationships that I have in my life by creating way less projection and more authenticity. And
Mm,
I'm so happy that I did that. I mean, was it hard? Yes, but worth it? Definitely.
yeah. And I think a lot of people, from my experience, when work presents itself as work, we tend to cower from it, right? It's relationships are hard. We hear that all the time. Or it's hard to change, which is true. It's hard to change yourself. It's hard to grow. All of these
Completely.
things, it's like growing pains, when our children get growing pains when they're physically developing,
Yeah.
there's no way around it. They get growing pains. How many nights have you had to massage legs in the middle of the night? And that is a growing pain. And I think it happens too emotionally and spiritually and like on a frequency level. As we grow, it tends to hurt a little and feel like hard work. Nobody wants to jump on a treadmill and put it on an incline and run for 20 minutes. Nobody wants to do that. But the more you build, the more you strengthen those muscles, the easier it becomes over time. But it's getting up that, like starting the momentum, getting up that first hill that is really hard. So when it comes to shadow work, like for those who are intimidated by getting started because it feels like hard work, looking at your shadows, opening old wounds, revisiting old trauma, really observing your relationships. All of these things sound like hard work. So, how would you sort of gently introduce someone to this practice, other than buying the journal, of course?
Yeah, no, that's a really, really solid point, though, like truly, because a lot of people won't do this and you can't force it, right? So if someone's not ready, they're not ready. But I would suggest to not wait till you're at a breaking point to dive into this because everybody has shadows. Every single one of us has shadows and things that we feel shame from. And healing is a lifelong process. I will always say that. There's always going to be something that comes up. Maybe you're at a different place in your life on a higher level, but you'll see the same things resurfacing until you deal with it. Just like you said, there's no running away from this. It will keep resurfacing. So it's truly up to the individual if they are willing to put in the work for a long-term gain. And but what I mean by this is, yes, it's hard work, but I don't think anything in life that's worth having is easy, right? So it's worth it. Like I can say that confidently with clarity. I have been elevated by doing my shadow work in all areas of my life. No, I'm not perfect, but I feel way better. I'm still dealing with certain challenges, but I deal with them in a much healthier, more efficient way than I ever had before. And I know a lot of it has to do with the shadow work.
Is it something that you do every day?
So recently, yes, because I mean, it is top of mind. And now that I've been doing it, it feels comfortable for me. So it can feel really hard at the beginning, but as you go, it starts to get more of a natural thing to do. It's almost like you see something coming up that doesn't feel right. And you know that's something to do with a trigger from the past, and you can work through it and get to the other side of that. So I am doing it all the time. Like I just did it yesterday to myself. So yes, I am focusing on shadow work for myself still regularly.
I love that because when you think about it, so a perfect example is my kids have been doing, and myself and my husband have been doing Duolingo. So all of my kids have been learning French because, they learn French in school and it just made the most sense. And I've been studying Italian. and I'm on like day 500 and something, and they're on day like 400. Like they started a little bit after me. And it's interesting because they'll hear something in French on television and they just know what it says
Yeah.
without having to even think about it. It becomes second nature as you practice something, as you consistently do something over time. So it's almost like creating a habit for yourself, right? It's like they don't miss a beat. Like when I say they're on day 400 and something, like that's in a row. That's a streak. Like they've been doing this for a long time. So is shadow work something that you can do on that level? Like, is there an easy way to just sort of incorporate it into your everyday, like using your journal, for example, where you can just ask a question to yourself? Or is there a practice involved, or like some kind of practice where you can basically do a streak, like Duolingo?
No, I really love that, and that's amazing. I love that. And it's true. That just validates that as you do something more and more, it does become second nature. So I absolutely say yes, you can intertwine shadow work into a daily practice with a journal, like literally this journal, and you can go through it as much as you want. I mean, I really did do that. Like I truly for 365 days journaled, and it had all to do with my shadow work, all of it. And I did it for a full year. And I mean, I still do it, maybe not daily, but very often. So I would say the best way is journaling and just looking at the patterns that are keeping you stuck. Everybody knows it. Your intuition knows when there's something that doesn't feel right, and you have to look at that. So it is something that you can intertwine into your daily. It's just, are you willing to do that, right?
Yeah. Ooh, so fun. It's almost like a secret club somewhere, it's like entry into the secret world that nobody knows about. So I'm loving this. And I think it's just going to be such a great resource for the world and for everyone. And I can't wait for people to get this into their hands.
Okay, wait,
What?
I love that you said that because that's exactly what I feel like. I feel like it's a portal.
Yeah,
It truly feels like a portal open for me, and I've walked through into a different realm. Truly,
yeah,
that's what it feels like. So you described that perfectly.
it's awesome. Well, and it's interesting because you hear people of the internet say things like, oh, that's so woo woo, or oh, that's this, or oh, that's that, and judging it. But there's also this whole world of people, I think, that are starting to wake
Yeah.
up to spirituality, wake up to their own intuition, whether you believe in God or source or the universe, or it doesn't matter really. What you're saying is that you are connecting to a higher power. And oftentimes the higher power is our own higher power. It's self source, it's our intuition, it is our self guide. And how tapped in you are to that knowing, that self awareness, that voice, in to me that is prayer, that is spirituality, that is the woo woo part, right? Is just sort of waking up to this that's been there all along. And I think that's also what you're saying when it comes to shadow work. It's really, we've been there all along. Like you said, everyone has shadows, everyone has skeletons in their closet, everyone has something that they're ashamed of. You can be ashamed of like spilling something and pretending you didn't and walking away, or you can be ashamed of something really big and really crazy, right? It's like shame is this emotion that like it's a human concept. It's our human that's ashamed of whatever it is because we've been told that there's rules and things that we have to follow and things that we have to live by. It's like we know as people what's right and wrong. We know not to harm, we know not to judge, we know not to like we know what's right and wrong fundamentally on like a human level. But all these other things like we shouldn't do that or say that or feel that or be that or like those are all like human concepts that we've made up in the mind, right? So what would you
Yes.
say to that?
Well, that was very powerful. And that is exactly what, again, shadow work is looking at those hidden parts that we have hidden because they're deemed not right, not okay, they're bad, right? But really, when we're stuffing them down into something, exasperates into something outwardly that we're not always conscious of, right? We're not always aware of. And this will bring the self-awareness to light so that you can make a change because everybody deserves to feel worthy and to feel joy and to feel peace, right? And so a lot of times we're our own selves keeping us stuck, unfortunately. That is the truth. Not on purpose, but we are. But we do have the power. Like you said, it's always been within us all along. And tapping into that higher power will create, like you said again, the doorway into a new realm of higher consciousness where you literally, quite literally, are operating at a different frequency.
I love it. I think it's so important and so timely, right? As people are waking up to new modalities of healing and spiritual guidance and all of that. I think it's so important that shadow work be part of the practice. So today on Amazon, you can go and get your copy of the Shadow Work Journal by Jessica Callery. And I'm going to link everything in the show notes so you can go find Jess. But tell us if you could leave our listeners with one gold nugget, one thing you wish you knew, one reason why you created this journal, like anything you want them to know, what would that be?
That's a good question. So, the one thing I would want them to know is to take their power back. Do the work. You deserve to feel joy and take your power back. Whatever it is that is keeping you stuck, bring it to light, integrate it, use it as power, purpose. I know that you're going to help somebody when you speak your truth. So truly just be honest and take your power back, literally.
Perfect. And where can our listeners find you if they want to come hunt you down?
You can find me on Instagram. I have my Jessica Callery coaching, and then I have my I am Jess Callery. Send me a message. I truly love connecting that way and getting to know people, and that would be the best way to connect with me, or look at my website. You can connect with me there as well, jessicacallery.ca.
And I'll link everything there as well as the Amazon links to go and get your copy of the Shadow Work Journal by Jessica Callery today. Thanks for being here, Jess.
Thanks for having me.